Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is a little different. I usually do a lot of vlogs, New York City vlogs, but when I started this channel, I was also doing a lot of movie content, so I'm gonna try to incorporate that here and there once in a while. And today is one of those videos where I'll be doing a ranking video. I love nothing more than a good shark movie. There are hundreds of thousands of shark movies out there, and thanks to streaming services, you can find them all online. Some are good, others are terrible. And one place that you can find a flux of shark movies is Tubi. And you all know that Tubi has a reputation for making subpar content. Actually, no, there are some good Tubi movies. You just have to look for them. But the majority of the Tubi films are not that great.
Man, I know you lying, bro.
Tubi.
Wait, hold up. How big a head? Get to the.
This man ain't got to sing.
Yo! You gonna see me again?
Tubi down bad.
I'll be here.
So I decided to watch a few shark movies and find the best of the worst shark films available on Tubi. So for today's video, I'll be ranking which of these terrible shark movies on Tubi is truly the best. But before we begin, I want to give a quick disclaimer. This video is just for fun and games, okay? Please don't take this seriously or be mad at any of my takes on these films. This is just my opinion and it's purely for fun and games and entertainment. I know how hard it is to make a movie, and I know all the hard work it takes to make a film, and the fact that these 11 films were made and are available on a streaming service is a huge success. So congrats to all the filmmakers involved in every single one of these films. But this is all just for fun and games, so please don't be mad. So with that out of the way, let's go into my computer so I can show you the ranking order. So the ranking order goes as follows. First, we have surprisingly entertaining. I had low expectations for this film, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I was locked in for the whole 90 minutes or 2 hours. So it was surprisingly entertaining. The second tier is this had potential, okay? From the story, the title, the poster, I thought this was gonna be good, and then it wasn't. So it had potential to be great if it was a completely different story, but it wasn't. Then not enough shark. If this is a shark movie, I'm expecting to see a shark throughout the 90 minutes. Throughout the 2 hours, okay? There was not enough shark. Maybe there was a shark for like 5 minutes and then I didn't see another shark for the rest of the movie. So not enough shark for me. Then we move down to why does this movie exist? Seriously, who came up with this idea and why? And finally, if I were a shark, I would be offended. And I would go to Atlantis, talk to Aquaman, talk to Poseidon, and file a complaint against Tubi, against whoever made this movie, because I am offended that you're using my likeness to make this stupid movie, okay? So let's begin. Let's begin with the first movie, which is Cocaine Shark. The plot of Cocaine Shark reads as follows. An explosion at a lab lets loose onto the streets an army of mutated, murderous sharks and other creatures injected with a potent new stimulant. I don't know who made this movie, but they are not serious. But somehow, this is a parody of a shark movie, but it's taking itself too seriously. This movie was an insult to shark everywhere, and if I were a shark, I would go to Atlantis, find Poseidon and Aquaman, and file a complaint. This movie was an insult to sharks. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what the story was about. There was so much going on. There was some sort of lab experiment with like half men, half shark, but they weren't really sharks. It was just really random. There was some undercover cop who was the narrator of the film, and he was talking about a drug called HT25, which when you take gives you hallucinations of sharks. The script was terrible, the acting was terrible, the special effects were elementary level bad. It was just so awful. The story was all over the place. I don't even think there was a story, to be honest with you. I was so confused watching this movie. There was barely any shark and there was no cocaine. So I don't understand why they called it Cocaine Shark. There was no shark or cocaine. There were some scenes where like an actor would be talking, but the focus would be in the background and the actor was blurry, but then nothing was happening in the background. So I don't know. But I gotta say, I'll give it to whatever madman made this movie, because they saw an opportunity with Cocaine Bear, and then there was some headline where someone dumped cocaine in the ocean and someone made a joke about cocaine sharks, and he took that opportunity and made this movie over a weekend, I'm pretty sure. And look, it's now on Tubi. But for this movie, if I was a shark, I would be offended. Next we go to Swim, which is a Tubi original with a terrible CGI, but that is kind of the norm in all of these films. That's something they all have in common. They have terrible CGI or special effects, some worse than others. But this one had bad CGI. I'm not sure why they call this movie Swim when the story takes place inside a house. This movie has Joy Lawrence from Blossom, but not even Joy could save this movie because the acting was bad, the audio was terrible, it didn't match some of the scenes. So the basic plot of Swim is a family is trapped in a hurricane-flooded vacation rental. They must keep going further and further up into the massive house as the water becomes infested with sharks. So that's pretty much it. There was a storm in California by the beach. What is that area where they have all the houses by the beach in California? Please comment below and tell me. I forgot. Malibu? Yeah, Malibu. There was a storm and somehow the basement gets flooded with water and somehow a shark goes into the house. And now like the water just keeps rising. And these people have to figure out a way to get out of the house because there's a shark going up the stairs in the house. For me, this movie had potential, but it wasn't good. So I'm gonna say this movie had potential. You know, it had Joy. I like Joy Lawrence. They had somewhat of a budget, but I think someone had access to this house in production and they thought, let's make a shark movie in this house. But it wasn't good. If you want to see a better movie with a similar premise, watch Crawl. But that one has a crocodile instead of a shark. But a crocodile seems more realistic, like in Florida if there's a flood and you have to save yourself because there's some crocodile swimming in your house. That one was a good movie. So Crawl is a better movie than Swim. But for me, Swim had potential, but it wasn't good. Next we have Shark Bait. This is another Tubi original. And this movie, a group of friends on vacation steal a couple of jet skis for fun and race them out into the sea, ending up in a head-on collision. They struggle to find a way home with a badly injured friend, while from the waters below, predators lurk. For me, this movie didn't have enough sharks. Okay, they spent way too much time in the water just looking into the distance. So that's pretty much the plot of the film. A bunch of spring breakers, they steal some jet skis, they go out into the water to act a fool. They have an accident, they jet ski into each other, they hit each other by accident. One messes up his leg and the other one gets concussed and passes out. And for like a good 3 minutes, these people are just like floating in the water, just looking out into the distance. No dialogue, nothing. No shark, just them looking out the water. And then one of the friends, the only black guy in the movie, he decides to go find help. He's gonna swim away to find help. I don't know exactly where he was going because he's in the middle of the ocean. So you're either gonna go swim more deep into the ocean or you're gonna go, I don't know what the plan was. But he swam away to find help. Only to later find himself, he finds a boat, but they're like playing music and dancing and stuff. And he's like, help, help. And I don't know where a shark comes and eats him. So what was the point of that? He should have just stayed with his friends, die over there instead of swimming away just to get eaten by a shark. Didn't even get help. This movie was also not that great, okay? They spent way too much time in the water just doing nothing and just staring into the distance. There, you can tell like the guy with the bad injured leg, The blood, the fake blood, was dry in his skin. I don't know how long they were there filming, but the blood was just drying up. So there wasn't enough shark for me. They needed more sharks. They spent way too much time just lounging in the water and not enough time fighting for their lives. So for that, there's not enough shark for me. Next, we're gonna go to Blind Waters. Blind Waters is another Tubi original. I had hopes for this one because there was a shark sighting within the first 3 minutes of the film. So I was like, okay, I can get behind this. The sharks of this film should have been the shark in Cocaine Shark because these sharks were wild. They looked like they were on cocaine. These sharks were vicious, they were hyper, they were like jumping around eating people. They ate a whole family in a boat. They were like just jumping across and eating them. This should have been Cocaine Sharks. And as these sharks are like eating, one of them is jumping, ate the dad. The other one jumped, ate the daughter. Was it a daughter or a son? Yeah, the daughter. And the mom of the family, she's like crying. And out of nowhere, a shark comes from behind and bites her and eats her. And then that was like the opening of the scene. And then we go to the other couple, which is the main couple of the movie that are on this boat. And these sharks, they're just like swimming 1,000 miles per second. I don't know. They were going so fast, just hitting these boats. So they hit the boat so hard that the boat flipped over, and now these people are in the water like fighting for their lives. Finally, someone's fighting for their lives with sharks everywhere. Whoever made this movie, they threw everything at this movie. First, there was a robbery, then it was sunny, and then 2 minutes later, there's a storm. There's sharks everywhere. I gotta say, this was surprisingly entertaining. So I'm gonna put Blind Waters up here. It was surprisingly entertaining. You know, they threw a lot at the movie, but it was an enjoyable film to watch. I was engaged throughout because I was like, what are they gonna throw at me next? Okay, next we go to Shark Side of the Moon. The plot of Shark Side of the Moon reads as follows. Decades ago, the USSR developed unkillable sharks and launched them to the moon. Today, a team of American astronauts will endure the fight of their lives. This movie was so bad that it was good. Immediately, it goes up here. I think I enjoyed this one more than Blind Water, so I'm gonna put it to the side. I'm gonna switch them, but Shark Side of the Moon was so bad that it was amazing. This is a sci-fi film. This film is about men sharks, so half men, half sharks, that they were created in a lab in Russia. The movie opens with some news footage of this, of some sort of space launch in Russia that they're sending people to space, and there's an explosion in the lab, and all these shark people get into the space shuttle and they shoot it to the moon, and then it fast forwards to the present time. And again, the CGI on this is not good. This movie was a low budget movie, but it didn't look terrible. Some of the scenes had an echo from whatever studio they were filming at, but you kind of get used to the echo. It kind of adds to the film, I guess, because they're supposed to be in the moon. So the sharks from the beginning of the movie that they go into the shuttle, when the shuttle launches, they land in the moon. And all these shark people colonize the moon. So now when the Americans get there, they find this colony of shark people in the moon. And the shark people want to come back to Earth and take over. This movie, the ending of this film, I'm not even going to tell you the ending of this film because I want you to go on Tubi and watch it for yourself. So please go on Tubi, watch Shark Side of the Moon, and come back here and tell me what you thought of the film. And then the shark people in the moon, they somehow can breathe up there, even though I thought there wasn't any oxygen in space. But somehow they're able to breathe without a helmet or anything. But if there's one movie on this list that you should watch, it is Shark Side of the Moon. And for that, this movie was surprisingly entertaining. Next we have Ouija Shark. In this film, a group of teenage girls summon an ancient man-eating shark after messing with a spirit board that washes up on the beach. An occult specialist must enter the shark's realm to rid this world of the deadly spirit ghost once and for all. Teenagers. This movie says teenagers, but those people were grown adults. whoever made this movie spent all their budget on the opening credits. The credits were about like 5 minutes. Why? Why? So this movie is about a girl who goes swimming in a lake and she finds a Ouija board. And she brings it to the house where her friends are having like a pool party. And they decide to summon a spirit, which just happens to be a shark. I don't know who wrote this movie, but shame on you, okay? Shame on you. There was no shark for about 30 minutes. This is another film with unnecessary scenes. Like, why are you having these scenes in this shark film? There was a girl washing a car for a good 10 minutes. I was like, for what? Why does she need to wash this car? Why is this scene important? She's just there washing. She's wearing a bikini. So I'm pretty sure a guy wrote this movie. She was just washing the car in a bikini. And for a good 10 minutes, that's all we had to see. Why? And then the ending of this film, you know what happened at the end? I'll tell you. There was a shark. No, not a shark. There was a Trump-like character who was like something about Operation Ouija board. Operation Ouija Shark. 0 stars. 0. A mess. You know, I was gonna say there wasn't enough shark. If I was a shark, I would be offended. That's where this goes. Because they're using... Oh my God, where? Okay, there we go. Oh, hold on. Now, what did I do? Okay. If I was a shark, I would be offended that you're using my likeness to promote this terrible film. Oh my God, it was a mess. This one has the worst of the CGI, the worst special effects is this one. Actually, they're both tie. Cocaine Shark and Ouija Shark. They're both tied for terrible. Okay, what's next? A Dead Aquarium. Aquarium of the Dead. The plot of this film. A scientific accident causes sea creatures in an aquarium to become zombies. That's pretty much it. This one person that works at an aquarium gives an octopus this contaminated medicine, which turns the octopus into a killer zombie octopus. And he infects the whole aquarium. This was bad. First of all, the villain is an octopus, not a shark. So I'm not sure why they have a shark in the poster. That's false advertisement. They should have had the octopus. Because the whole time in this movie, everyone is running from the octopus. I barely saw a shark in there. But this movie was not good. I was bored watching this. I wanted this movie to be done 5 minutes in. This movie was so bad that I was gonna say not enough shark, but because it's so terrible and it's false advertisement, they have a shark in the poster and a shark is barely in the film. It's all about this octopus and they're using my likeness to promote this film. If I was a shark, I would be offended, okay? I'm gonna put it right there. All right, everyone, I am back. I had some technical difficulties. The tier list site crashed on me and then my camera was dying, so I had to charge it. So the frame might look different. The frame for the tier list looks different because I realized I had it on a different setting before. Are you okay over there? But we're back. It's good now. Okay, where was I? Aquarium of the Dead. That I said that if I was a shark, I would be offended because the fact, oh my God, okay, here we go. The fact that this terrible movie is using my likeness to promote this movie and there is not one shark, there's one shark towards the end. The story's not even about the shark. I would be offended. I will go to Poseidon, I will go to Aquaman and file a complaint. Okay, my next movie, Predators of the Deep. The plot reads as follows. When a group of friends sets out to uncover the treasures of a sunken shipwreck, their mission quickly morphs into a nightmarish fight for survival. That was a lie because this movie was so boring. First of all, I was gonna say that this movie had potential because the movie is like, it's filmed in like a documentary style. So I thought that was kind of original and different for a shark movie. But this movie was so boring. This is a found footage film of a group of friends who decided to go out and find some ship in the ocean that has some treasure. It's called the Santa Ynez. And they all disappear at sea. This was the most boring shark movie ever made. And if I was a shark, I would also be offended for this movie. But the movie, I don't know why this movie exists. Why does this movie exist? It's so boring. All they do is talk. There's like some love triangle between the three. There's a girl and two guys, and I think there might be another person. But one of the girls was dating the camera guy, and she was also dating, and she's now dating the guy that wanted to go find this treasure. So all the found footage is them like talking about their relationship. And then when we finally see a shark, literally the last 10 minutes of the film, this movie, I think this is like 90 minutes. The last 10 minutes of the film is when we see a shark. And you can tell the whole time these people, you can tell they're filming in like a lake somewhere. But then the shark, the found footage that they use, it's like a free, copyright free footage that they found online, and the shark is in an ocean. You can tell the difference. The shark it's in like clear blue waters, and they're in a lake. This movie was a waste of time. And I don't know why this movie exists. So it's gonna be, why does this even exist? Next is Santa Jaws. The plot of Santa Jaws reads as follows. Trying to survive his family Christmas, Cody makes a wish to be alone, which ends up backfiring when a shark manifests and kills his entire family. This movie was giving Hallmark Channel. It looked like they had a budget, but it actually looked pretty good, but I feel like they could have done more with their budget. Pretty much, there's a kid that is a comic book artist, and he's writing this comic book called Santa Jaws, and when he gets this magical pen, he starts using it to work on his comic, but the shark from his comic book comes to life when the kid wishes to be alone. We barely get any shark in this film. I was kind of on the fence between this had potential and not enough shark, because you can tell they had a budget. And I feel like had they used their budget a little more, it could have been an entertaining film. So I'm gonna say, where is it? Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna say not enough shark. It was still not enough shark. They didn't give us enough, the shark wasn't eating enough people for me. So, but I feel like it's in between this had potential and not enough shark. Because had they done something with the script and done more with the budget, it could have been an entertaining film. But I'm gonna say that there wasn't enough shark for me in this film. Next we have Shark Season. The plot of Shark Season reads as follows. 3 kayakers fight for their lives when a great white shark traps them on a small sinking island. This film is based on true events, and this film is a prime example that some real life events do not have to be turned into a movie. The opening credits were just way too long. They were just a bunch of shots of a beach with really bad royalty-free music. There was just way too many unnecessary shots of this beach. So pretty much, this movie is about 3 people that go out into the ocean, into this rock that's in the middle of the ocean to have a photo shoot. There's like a model and this other girl and a guy. And they go out to take some photos for their Instagram or whatnot. I don't know. There was a lot of time wasted in this movie. There's a lot of time wasted doing nothing. This movie drags. The pacing is so slow. It was so bad. I don't know which one's worse. This one. Which one did I say? Or Ouija board? Yeah, or Ouija board. I mean, this one looked way better than Ouija board, but it was so terrible. The acting wasn't good. The pacing was bad. The script was terrible. I don't even think they had a script. I'm sure they were just improvising. So next time you found yourself stranded in an island and you're waiting for hours on end for someone to come rescue you, and you see a shark swim by you, don't think this will be a great movie, because it's not. It won't make a great movie. It'll be boring. So you know what? I don't know why this movie exists. This movie did not have to exist. It was useless, pointless, a terrible film. Okay, and next we have the Jersey Shore Shark. What is it? Let me see. The Jersey Shore Shark Attack. The plot. A cast of characters strikingly similar to the cast of Jersey Shore tries to survive an epidemic of shark attacking Miami Beach. For a movie called Shark Attack, there wasn't enough sharks. So I'm gonna put it here. There was not enough sharks. This movie is a parody of the Jersey Shore with sharks. There was a literal copy of each single character on the Jersey Shore in this film. It had the longest party scene in the history of party scenes, where absolutely nothing happens. Why? I don't know. Joey Coco Diaz was in this film for 2 seconds, and I like Joey Coco Diaz, but he was there for 2 seconds. Then Joey Fatone from the Backstreet Boys was also in this film. He gets eaten by a shark. They barely had any sharks in this. And when the sharks did appear, they were not really any good shark scenes. And it was also very boring. This was another boring shark film, which was not good for me. So for that, this movie, what did I say? There wasn't enough shark. And there you have it. The top 2 movies, the best, worst shark films on Tubi are Shark Side of the Moon and Blind Waters. But out of those 2, Shark Side of the Moon tops all of them for being the best, worst movie on Tubi. And then followed by Swim, which I thought it had potential, but it wasn't that great. And then Sharkbait, Santa Jaws, and the Jersey Shore Shark Attack did not have enough sharks for my liking. And then Predators of the Deep and Shark Season. I'm not sure why those movies exist. They were boring and terrible. And finally, if I was a shark, I would march to Atlantis, talk to Aquaman, talk to Poseidon, file a lawsuit against Tubi and whoever made Cocaine Shark, Ouija Shark, and Aquarium of the Dead for using my likeness to make this film. Because Cocaine Shark had no shark or cocaine. Ouija Shark was just an awful film. And Aquarium of the Dead, there was barely any shark in it. And there you have it. So if you go to Tubi and you watch any of these films, come back here and share your comments and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the film. And that is the video. I hope you enjoyed this really silly video that I thought to make. I actually have been thinking about making this for like over a year now, and I had the script written for it. I watched all these films. I did my research. And I don't know, I was supposed to make it sooner, but better late than never. Here we are. It's already done, and you're watching it right now. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in on my best of the worst shark films on Tubi. And that is the video. Comment below and tell me what is your favorite shark movie. And come back next week for my next video. I usually post a lot of vlogs, New York City vlogs. Well, here and there, I make films like this. I mean, not film. I make videos like this for my pure entertainment. And I hope that you're entertained watching this. Anyways, that is the video. I'm done. Hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you on my next film. Bye.